Chapter 20. I felt the hot, tar-like liquid against my mouth. The sour stench steamed over my face. A deafening roar made my ears throb. The goblet fell from the jackal's hand. The thick liquid spread over the dirt. Another roar. The ground began to tremble. The jackal leader staggered back, his eyes wide with surprise. I licked my lips. I could taste the poison. My stomach heaved. But I forgot all about it as an enormous dragon lurched into view. Another roar. Another dragon appeared, lumbering over the grassy field, and then another, and I saw figures riding high on the dragon's arched necks. Armored figures riding the sharp spikes on the backs of the lumbering creatures. Knights with swords and shields glowing in the light from the fires. The dragons shrieked furiously, snapping their toothy jaws, trotting over the hay mound, flattening it under their broad feet. A dragon stormed over the leader's hut, crushing it underfoot like a paper cup. The helmeted armored knights hung from the dragon's long necks, lowering themselves, holding on with one hand as they swung their swords in wide circles at the startled jackals. The field rang out with cries, the triumphant battle cries of the knights, the high, shrill shrieks of the advancing dragons, the terrified moans and whimpers of the jackals. The evil little men dropped their spears and ran. The leader ran after them, calling for them to stay and fight. Cal shoved me hard. "Wow! It's just like the game," he uttered, eyes wide with amazement. "Let's go," Emily cried, and we took off, running away from the jackals, away from the shouting, swooping knights on the dragons, away from the huts and fires. Our feet thudded over the soft ground. We were running at full speed, running over a wide dirt field, escaping from the battle, escaping from the evil jackals. Breathing hard, my chest throbbing, I turned back. The huts were all burning now, bright flames flying up against the purple night sky. The whole grassy field appeared to be on fire. The jackals had all vanished. The knights on their dragons were whooping and cheering and swinging their swords high above their heads in triumph. "Keep going," Cal urged, pulling my sleeve as we ran. "Don't stop. Those knights may be our enemy too." "If they come after us," Emily gasped, "we're dead meat." I glanced back again. In the light of the burning huts, I saw them still celebrating their victory. "It wasn't a very fair fight," I said, taking a long, deep breath of cool air. "Who cares?" Cal cried. "You almost had to drink that poison." "Oh!" The thought of it sickened me all over again. I turned and started to run faster. The flat field curved down, then tilted uphill again. A line of tall stalks rose up like a wall in front of us. "We can hide in the corn stalks," I cried. We lowered our heads and dove into the tall, dry stalks, shoving them aside, pushing them with our shoulders, our shoes crunching over the dried leaves at our feet. The stalks rose up high over our heads. They crackled and creaked, bending away as we moved through them. After a minute or so, I stopped. Panting hard, I lowered my hands to my knees and struggled to catch my breath. All around us, the tall stalks rustled and swayed. "We're safe here," Emily said softly, "at least for a while." "Yeah, no one can see us in here," Kyle agreed. "I've never seen corn stalks this tall," I said, still breathing hard. "They're so thick and—" I stopped with a choked gasp when I saw a stalk in front of me begin to open. I saw a quick movement. A hand. A slender hand reaching out from inside the stalk. Stalks crackled around us, creaked and swayed, and opened. Hands slid out first, and then slender, dark bodies, smooth and shiny, moved out from the unfurling stalks. Dozens of slender, silent creatures with smooth green heads, no features, no faces, leafy green heads like ears of corn before they'd been shucked. Dozens, and then hundreds of them. The stalks creaked open, swaying softly as the creatures moved out. The slender, dark arms stretched out from the stalks like rubber. The hands slid around us, tightening. "Stalks!" Emily choked out. "Remember the car, Connor? They're stalks!" I don't remember," I gasped. Hands wrapped around my chest, my throat, and tightened like vines. "Can't breathe," our cow groaned. "Can't breathe." I squirmed and kicked, but the creatures held on tightly. Too many of them, too many to fight. And still the stalks opened, unfurled, letting loose more silent, deadly stalks. What can we do? I choked out. What can we do now? You finished the story.